And that was the moment that I knew something was wrong. That was the moment that I was like, I think I might have just fucked myself up. This video is going to be a bit more of a story time video, just due to the fact that my options for creating content right now are a little bit limited given the fact that I have a broken knee. So if you're interested in hearing the story of how I broke my knee this weekend while skiing, then definitely make sure to keep watching. And if you like fashion and lifestyle content, then make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because I upload videos every Wednesday and that's the kind of content that I normally make. But for the next couple of weeks, we might need to improvise a little bit and do more of these story time videos, because I did break my knee and my content creation endeavors are a little bit limited because of that. So in front of me, by the way, there is a building being constructed. So my apologies if you hear any construction noises, but it's out of my hands. So sorry. This weekend, I went skiing in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, and it was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Gorgeous. Warm weather. I think it was the warmest weather I've ever skied in. It was like 9 degrees Celsius or something ridiculous like that. Sunny, just gorgeous. The conditions on this day were very interesting because the snow was more of a slush-like consistency, so it made the runs a lot faster than normal. Because it was such a gorgeous day, there were so many lines for the lifts that, plus COVID, oh my God, it took us over an hour to get to the top. So we finally get to the top, and at this point I was like super antsy. I just wanted to hit the slopes and get some skiing in. I'm an intermediate skier, by the way, so I do greens and blues and blacks and just all sorts of runs. This particular run that we did was a blue, and I think on blues I tend to go a bit faster because I am comfortable on them. Like blacks I'll go slower because I know they're, you know, obviously steeper and more challenging, but with the blues I tend to go a bit faster. So we go on this hill and it is stunning, smooth, super fun. Loved it so much that we wanted to do it again. So we do it again and I am like booking it down the mountain. Obviously going too fast in retrospect. I lose control, I fall, and I fell in the weirdest way. Like I don't really remember how I fell. I kind of blacked out, honestly, but I just remember mid-fall feeling my knee like twist and my ski get stuck in the snow and like twist it further. And that was the moment that I knew something was wrong. That was the moment that I was like, I think I might have just fucked myself up. So I land and I'm in like a 9 on 10 level pain, like quite a lot of pain. And this skier right behind me stops and he's like asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? And at this point I was in so much shock that I couldn't put any words together. I was just like, I think I was hyperventilating and crying and like just unable to speak. So he flags a medic down, and thankfully Mont-Tremblant has a ton of medics just skiing on the hill for this type of situation. And so a medic comes within a matter of minutes and the guy skis off, and the medic comes and he starts asking me questions, and at this point I'm a little bit more calm. That's relative. At this point I'm able to speak. I tell him what happened and I'm like crying and stuff, and it was not pretty at all. And so then he starts like examining my leg and my knee, and you know, there was no blood or anything. So then he asks if I can move. Bending was really painful. Straightening was also really painful. Everything was painful at this point. And so he asked me if I could stand on my leg. So he like helped me get up, and I tried to put weight on it, and it was just like, hell no, just like absolutely not an option. So at this point, it was pretty clear that I wasn't going to be able to ski down. So they called the sled crew. At this point, my boyfriend, who didn't actually get to see the fall, he was waiting for me at the bottom, and he was like, did she pass me? And then after a while he was like, okay, no, she must have fallen. So he takes off his snowboard and he starts walking up this steep hill in this like 9-degree scorching sun weather. I know 9 degrees doesn't sound warm, but remember, we're dressed in snow gear, so it was warm. And the guy who found me sees him walking up the mountain, and he's like, oh yeah, so your girlfriend, she twisted her knee. So my boyfriend's like, okay, I gotta go up. So he's like walking up the hill, and then the sled team comes and they're like, okay, we're gonna put you in this and we're gonna immobilize your leg just to be safe. So they immobilized my leg and they put me in the sled, and they were like, instead of going to a hospital, Mont-Tremblant has this great ski clinic for injuries that happen on the hill, but it's on the south side. And we were on the north side, on the middle of the slope. So basically, in order for us to get to this clinic, what we had to do was they had to ski me down to the bottom of the north side. My boyfriend had to walk back down, get his snowboard down, take the chairlift up to the top of the mountain, snowboard down to the south side, walk to the car, drive to the north side, pick me up, and then drive to the south side. Oh my God. At this point, I was just shot up with adrenaline. I had so much adrenaline in me that I was okay. It really does make the pain a lot less intrusive. So thankfully, I had that to like subsist me through the day. Is that a word? I think that's a word. So they strap me in and he goes on his mission and I go on my mission, which is nothing. I'm basically strapped in a sled. They take me down and I'm like, wrapped in blankets, and everyone's like looking at me like, oh my God, is she okay? Did she die? So they take me down and we just end up like chilling and waiting. Because I have this adrenaline in me, I'm not in that much pain. So I start calling people and just like trying to kill the time, because from the time that it happened to the time that I got to the clinic, I would say like 2.5 hours. Really, they should have some sort of shuttle from one side of the mountain to the other for these types of scenarios, because like it just so happens that my boyfriend had a big car and we were able to fit me in with my splints. Like, what if he had a 2-door? That wouldn't have worked. And they don't have taxis because it's a small town. So like, I don't know, they just didn't have taxis in Mont Tremblant on that day, on a Saturday. But so we're chilling in the hut, me and the medics, once we get down, waiting for my boyfriend to come, and he arrives and they take me into the car. But like, since I had this giant splint on, I had to get basically pulled into the back seat. So we got me in the car and we drove to the south side and we drove to the clinic, and there they were waiting for me because the medics had called them and informed them. And it was quite quick actually once I got inside, I had to go alone obviously because COVID. But once I got inside, I saw the doctor pretty quickly. At this point also, by the way, like I wasn't in pain unless I had to move my leg. Anytime someone would pick up my leg, excruciating, like so much pain. And that's because all of the muscles around my injury, which at this point was obviously TBD, were engaging, because we have this like subconscious kind of muscle engagement that happens. Obviously, because I have an injury, anytime that those muscles would engage, they would aggravate the injury, and that's what would cause the insane pain. So once I got to the clinic, in order to get onto the bed, we had to do that, unfortunately, and then for the x-rays themselves. So until we did the x-rays, everyone thought that it was ligament issues. For the x-rays, they basically had to do one where my leg was completely straight, and that one was a piece of cake. The second one that they had to do, I had to bend my knee and then like kind of twist it and like put it on the metal thing with like my knee bone touching it. Oh my God, so painful. Probably just as painful as when I first got the injury. Lo and behold, they looked at the x-rays and they found a fracture in my tibial plateau on my right knee. And they gave me a splint and some crutches and a 2-minute lesson on how to use crutches, because I've never used crutches before. I've never broken anything before. By the way, if you guys have, let me know what you've broken. Let me know your experience. I would love to read about it because I ain't got much else to do these days. So yeah, they gave me my supplies and they said, at this point, there's nothing you can do until you see your orthopedic surgeon. Just rest, ice, compress, elevate, and call the clinic on Monday. So this was on Saturday, right? So then I get into the car and my boyfriend's like, do you want to go back into the town? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not in a lot of pain right now. Let's go get the pain meds and then let's just have après ski. Like, let's just have some wine and some pasta and chill, because there's nothing else for me to do. And so that's what we did. We tried to like make the most of the evening, and I was pretty tired. I went to bed pretty early that night because of all the craziness, obviously. The hardest part for me definitely was the day after, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm used to being a very self-sufficient, like I need something, I go get it. I don't like to ask people for whatever it is that I need. But my boyfriend's been great. He's been like, working from home and taking care of me because I am extremely immobile right now. And then also not being able to move. The first few days of spring happened to happen right after I break my knee, so I can't go out and like enjoy it. But it's okay, because by the time I am healed and I am able to walk again, it will be even more gorgeous outside. So I'm just trying to shift my perspective into a positive light and make the most of the situation. I've just been accepting it. And one of my New Year's resolutions actually was to read a book a month, and I'm going to be surpassing that now. So that's a cool positive. If you have any book recommendations, by the way, I would absolutely love them. I guess at this point it's gonna be a book a week. Also, if you have any ideas for videos that you'd like for me to film, let me know in the comments, because I don't think I'll be able to do my normal fashion and lifestyle, but any of these types of like sit down videos, I want to keep to my Wednesday upload schedule because I am committed, guys. I am committed. My orthopedic surgeon appointment is tomorrow, and I'll be able to find out more about what I can and cannot do. I'm crossing my fingers that it's just a hairline fracture, no ligament damage, and I can just like continue as is, maybe get a cast or something, like, and that's what I'm hoping for. But my boyfriend thinks that it's very likely that I have ligament damage as well. So we'll see. Thank you so much for watching and staying through to the end of this video. I wanted to get something out for you guys, so I hope that this was somewhat entertaining. Let me know if you have any comments or thoughts, or definitely will be reading and replying to your comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.